Hello and welcome to this, the first in a series of videos we're going to do looking into a track-by-track analysis of Glass Minds, the new album by Archive. I'm here with Danny and Darius in the studio at Metway Studio in Brighton, where a lot of the album was recorded and mixed. Guys, hello, how you doing?
Very good.
And also to add, we also have Toby here.
Toby.
Toby's hiding in the background.
He was on all the sessions with assisting Jerome.
Yep.
And so knows kind of where everything is. And
that's true.
Miking up everything and making it sound rather special.
That's great.
So we start with Broken Bits. The majority of that was written in Paris when we were mixing something else. Dan wasn't with me at the time of the birth of it, but when I played him work in process,
I loved it because it's the idea of starting with an instrumental and it's so powerful.
Was that the idea all along, like to open with a bit of an epic soundscape?
Well, no, it was a thing that we could. That's what that Dan was saying. Because I played it to Dan, we hadn't planned, so it came later on in the album. And we hadn't planned, and Dan was excited because we hadn't done it since Old Artist.
Exactly.
Like, fuck it, let's go for it. Just have an instrumental intro, and you never know that, whether it's like too self-indulgent or whether it's commercial suicide having a 7-minute instrumental. But
Sure.
Not that we've been commercial ever, but
Constantly committing suicide when it comes to commercial.
So we've got all the original stems lined up on the desk, right?
We have.
So we can have a little analysis of the track.
Yeah. So Jerome's broken down everything into. We can't do every single sound because it would be hundreds of tracks. So we got basically all the synthesizers on one, the organs and mellotrons. We got Dan's samples and bits, the vocal stuff. So I can kind of go through it. So this part was how it started. It started with the drum effect thing, this sound here. That was the beginning of it. I found that sound just fishing around on Logic samples, I can't remember. And then pretty quick was like the drums that were kind of distorted tom. It's a nice rhythm, very simple, and kind of a lot of space in it. It's not like a normal beat, is it?
No, exactly.
Hi-hats or snares yet. We didn't use hi-hat at all. And then it was literally like the arpeggiator came in. So these sounds here, and I'll solo it in a sec. So that's a soft synth from. So that sounds a soft synth from Logic. I can't remember exactly which one it was. I think it was like a Jupiter, I think it was. And then basically we got the real Moog in and then tracked it up about 2 or 3 times. We used different octaves on the Moog, on the real Moog synthesizer. So it's all in there with that as the track builds. So there we go. So that's how far we got with. So I'll get the drums in there. And then there's the pianos.
It's distorted ones.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. No, the real pianos. Just very simple. So the pianos were done kind of later here after the track had built, and they go all sorts of, like, first of all it was kind of just the C note or whatever the key was. What is the key? Can't remember.
I
should know that. I think it was,
been a while.
But I'll go and have a look in a minute on the piano. And anyway, so yeah, that's just like the octave down the notes. But then later it got kind of a bit more violent, the piano, because I love like having just discordant notes, you know, like. Right. Let's go back. So where is it? There's some. There you go. Look at that. Bam. Lovely sound. Love all that. These are all the pianos. Oh, look at that. That's that one.
So was that you just attacking the piano and in the here
literally, yeah.
Yeah, just like adds a bit of drama.
Yeah, great.
It's because the arpeggio keeps it running all the way through, so you don't want anything else complicating that.
No,
really,
exactly. Just like just stuff in the space, isn't it? That we exactly how Dan does. I mean, this is the same way you do samples, isn't it?
Yeah, right. So this idea of space, obviously, you've spoken about this already about Glass Minds. Generally, the sound of Glass Minds, the album, has got a lot of space to it. So I guess you'd already kind of discovered that in the tracks you'd already written on. So I guess
exactly.
that all came into mind when you were doing this intro, I suppose.
Exactly, and it's exactly that, and treating it like Dan does treat samples,
yeah, right.
where you're just kind of putting in gaps, you know, as an atmosphere thing,
Yeah.
innit?
Yeah, completely.
So, for example, Dan's samples here, this is great, I love this. Right, this is, Dan's samples are on here.
Yeah,
right
got
here, right here. So let's have, there you go. See that kind of thing? These lovely sounds. There goes another one of Dan's.
Just made lots of noise.
From, where'd you get the vinyl, Dan?
What, as in, where do I buy it?
Yeah, well, just what kind of vinyl
I just buy
you
the
using?
bizarrest things I can, so that, I mean, I go to the shop I go to locally, they've got a turntable there, so I can just go up with a pile and just listen through them for an hour or so until, and yeah, some just might have one little noise that I think, oh, that'll work. That's it.
Yeah,
I've
great.
got a good deal with them as well, where I can actually take them back and then swap them up as well.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I couldn't tell you what the names of any of the albums are because I have no idea. You know.
So do you build up like an ammunition of samples? Do you sit there studying records first, or do you just kind of work on the fly, like cue up the track and then attack it?
No, I
with
usually
noise?
sort of work on the fly, really, I suppose, because it's kind of always bring in a nice enough selection so that, because every track's different. Some tracks don't work. You know what I mean? You don't need samples. Like,
you don't want to overdo it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So.
But some tracks are like, it makes a tune when you.
Well, it's really important.
You know, it's like it's one of those.
I think it's good because it's not many bands will ever really go out and do that.
Yeah.
It's a vinyl sort of style, but it's something about it.
Yeah, it definitely gives an extra dimension, especially to the atmosphere. We're talking about atmosphere, especially on this album with the space and everything. I think it really comes into its own on this album with that atmospheric side of things when you've got all that space to play with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
So it really does give it a unique sound because, yeah, it's clearly not instruments or anything. It's just.
So I mean, again, it's just
it's our noise.
Yeah.
And that's why it's in some ways it's the most fun bit for us as a band because, you know, if you're going to hire in, I'm going to come to the Hammond and the Mellotron. Now I'm going to play some of that, and the Mellotron is Lee Pomeroy, who's our original bass player, but he plays brilliant Mellotron. And Steve Keys, who does our Hammond always.
Great.
I mean, I play Hammond as well, like simpler stuff, but he comes in and he's just an extraordinary player.
He's a bit of a maestro, yeah.
But anyway, but if you have Hammond, Mellotron, guitars, you tend to know roughly what it's going to sound like. But with samples, you ain't got a fucking clue. Like, what the hell is that?
No, it's fucking earth.
You know what I mean? So that's the exciting
Sometimes
thing.
you don't expect them to. I'd throw them in there like. Say with You Make Me Feel back in there. I thought you were just going to laugh at me when I played that. You went, oh, that's fucking great. It's all right. Blinded.
Standout moment on the song, for sure.
Excellent.
So let's hear the if I go through the separate sounds, so you can kind of hear them separately, and then I can say, because that's quite interesting when you hear stuff and then after I can sort of that's how the song sort of builds. But so let's get some mellotrons. This is fun. This is on organs here. Look, wow, that is on 13, 14. Right, 13, 14 here. Right, so here we go. Yeah, cool. So this is all right. You'll love this. Right. No, sorry. See that? Wow, mellotron. And Lee's bending the tapes, right? Because it Hammond. It's like just going to keep this going for a minute because it's just both of them just really experiment with the way they use the instrument. It's not just like Hammond. Oh, where's the choirs coming up? Amazing. So you get an idea. That's this is another Hammond.
Wow.
And that's crazy, right?
Wow, yeah.
Almost sounds like vinyl, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, with that ability to stretch the pitch with obviously, he's like you say, using the tape and playing with the tape, so it's affecting that in an analog way. I mean, this is almost sort of it sits between the sample atmosphere and the instruments, really, doesn't it? Because it's an instrument, but it's playing a lot of atmospheric stuff like the samples do. Like, so again, adding that space and that otherworldliness to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's so different from because it's ironic because the mellotron was the first sampler, really. It was sampled sounds, recorded sounds that you then played. But the difference between the mellotron samples that you get on Logic or in Pro Tools or whatever brands, they're bloody good, but they're nothing like the real thing. As soon as you get the real, it's got this kind of depth to the sound, like a thickness, the analog that you can't get unless you get the real thing, because they're really hard to find now to hire, especially if you're recording in Brighton. It's hard to get them to deliver it, and it's fucking expensive.
Yeah, I bet.
And but the problem is, why don't you get one of those new ones that but you can't do the tape. It just doesn't work. It's ridiculous,
You can't replay it in an instrument the same way without that.
So that's why. So anyway, so if we go sort of in between, then let's talk about the vocals as well, because there's when we finished kind of the instrumental parts, I remember saying it'd be great just to get a presence of with Dave Pollard and Lisa on the track, and so we just basically they went into one by one went into the control room. Not at the same time, at different times, but and I put their mic through the. Have you got the Mesa Boogie here?
Not easily to hand, but it can be.
Yeah, well, we'll show you in a bit. It's a silver box that we used on. Is it close by or?
No.
Sorry, no, it's not. No worry. Anyway, it's a Mesa Boogie, right?
Mesa Boogie. Yes.
Mesa Boogie, and it's a silver machine. Distortion, and we used it a lot on noise and on. You were saying to me with Craig, and it had amazing distortion sound, and so that vocals kind of go through that, and we're recording on here, and it's literally just screams. Let's find them. Where are they? Vocals are on 2728, right? So 2728. Here we go. Right, that's one there. Let's see if this works. Right, can I solo? Oh no,
Somebody else.
right, solo. Well, that's Pollard. Yeah. That's Pollard as well, I think, coming up. And in context, There, see, that's in context with the music. And then who's here? Right, is this Dave coming up or no? It's Lisa, I think. Yep. Yeah, that's Lisa, and then Dave is coming up at the end. Oh, sorry. Oh, right, here we go. Right. Oh, I've done something here. Sorry. That's Dave.
There you go.
Wow. And that is a Mesa Boogie. It's been in our family since 2000 and since 1999, right?
Something like that.
Just before Craig joined.
Yeah, right.
And it was used for guitar originally, and then we started to... Is it an actual guitar pedal, Toby?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
I believe
guitar.
it is,
It's
yeah,
Pete's, our old engineer Pete Barraclough. And we just started using it with vocals, and it's brilliant. It's great. I'd strongly advise to buy one if you are a musician.
So yeah, so you use that. So when you were recording these vocal loops and these sort of added again, this is more atmosphere, isn't it? This
Yeah.
is more similar to what you're doing with the samples and everything.
Yeah.
Were you recording these live through the distortion or adding that in post and the delay there as well? Were they playing with that?
No,
as a
they
pedal?
heard that while they were recording because they needed to get
Yeah,
the,
great.
the
That's what I thought.
atmosphere, Yeah. So it wasn't an after. It's quite hard to scream dry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So was that the
Without feeling very
DL4
odd.
when we brought the DL4 in? Was it the green pedal? You remember I brought one up here
Yeah, you
that
did,
time.
yeah. I can't
Was
remember what we did. We
I was wondering what delay you used for that.
Ah, the delay, yeah, but quite possibly. I don't know, Toby, whether we
I
use
think
that.
it was just a stock Pro Tools plugin
Oh,
when we were
really?
tracking. I'm sure Jerome must have used something slightly more flamboyant during the mix, but for the purpose of monitoring, it was just something easy to hand.
While they were doing it.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
But we definitely used a Mesa Boogie, I know that. So this song, basically, I mean, the story is we started with those drums, and then basically it was all about this arpeggiator building. That's a whole... I'm just going to leave it all in now without soloing. As you know, the song... I always thought when it's this line, it always reminds me of like a chase scene. That sounds a bit cheesy, like a 70s movie with like someone running away from.
Yeah, it's
coppers.
definitely got a cinematic feel to it. I think the whole album has really, and this really sets the scene for that.
Yeah, exactly.
This harkens back to like John Carpenter. I think
exactly.
you've mentioned Terminator soundtrack for like Glass Mines and things. So it's definitely got that almost like 80s soundtrack feel to it.
Exactly, Warriors as well.
Yeah, right.
Scene in Warriors. But anyway, so the whole thing was to build up to the crescendo of this part, which I had written on the keyboards, the brass part, right? It was the only keyboards would be initially, and we'd already had City Walls and a few tunes that we'd written brass arrangements on, haven't we? So it's becoming, we discussed it as being part of the
lot of brass
sound
involved.
of the album, wasn't it?
Yep.
So it kind of built up to this moment with the brass at the end. So...
Further on down.
Oh, it's there, sorry, okay. So it's a crescendo. So that was the crescendo at the end with just very simple chords, but almost like I want to be cheesy about it, but it's got a bit of that Richard Strauss vibe, you know. In 2001 they used that piece
Yeah,
of music.
right.
It's been used a million times.
Yeah.
But it's got that. That's why I love brass, because it's melancholy, but it's also really dramatic and kind of cathartic in a way.
So I remember you saying quite early on that
euphoric.
when you were working on this album, how you wanted to bring brass into it. What was the reasoning behind that? You just felt it suited the songs, or you were inspired by other music at the time?
Elgar,
Yeah, right.
you know, that piece that they used in Dunkirk, the Nimrod,
Ah,
the
yeah.
Hans Zimmer version's fucking amazing. But the other, you know, the brass version of it is, I don't know, it's just, we've loved them, we always.
Yeah, damn right.
Brass since the early days, we're using French horns and
From the start.
and in orchestra, but we never actually hired a brass section in on its own, and we didn't want to, because we didn't want it, we wanted quite a minimal record. I didn't want to start going down the string arranging and doing all that, so we just discussed it and was like, why don't we just have a brass section? Wow, you know?
Great.
Yeah.
And it's worked. So that was all done, and I remember playing it to Jerome in Paris, and he listened. He said, "Yeah, this is great," but he said, "Surely, if it is going to start, Leon," because he was like, "This should definitely be a start," as Dan said as well.
Yeah, right.
And then, so he said, if the brass theme has brass on it in all the songs, and it's kind of this sort of central piece of the record, why don't you start with brass? So write a part to be in tune. I was like, oh wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah, introduce the...
So that was it, really, and then
textures of the album.
Yeah, exactly, and that's when we started. So that's how it started. It started with that brass,
Yeah.
and that's a 12-piece, I believe, in it. It's 12, isn't it? I think 12.
Was it? Oh, okay.
I think it's...
Wow.
Yeah, it's trumpets, trombones, French horns, and tuba.
Amazing.
Yeah, bass tuba.
Is that all recorded in here?
No, that's
Where was that recorded?
It was in London, no?
Yeah, exactly. It was in Angel Studios.
Yeah.
In Angel
We tried
Studios.
to get Abbey
Okay.
Road.
Yeah.
This is it. Just on its own. Quite menacing, isn't it?
Yeah.
We had to get them all to bend the notes. And it's not so easy. It's easy for trombones, but not.
Yeah, but not for other brass
Yeah.
instruments.
To play it to the end, 'cause it's got. That's it. All through the delays, tape
Yep.
loops.
Yeah,
Right.
amazing.
So, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's 12 part. I think it's like three French horns, 3 trombones, a bass trombone as well, 4 trumpets, I think, and yeah, and a bass tuba. So it was a wonderful. Yeah, we tried to get Abbey Road, but they don't like booking less than 2 or 3 days.
Ah, okay.
So, but they own another studio in Angel. They bought Angel Studios, which is a very
Oh, they
famous
bought that now. Oh, okay.
studio as well. And,
Yeah.
it's wonderful. So yeah, we just went in there for the day,
Oh, amazing.
and it was arranged with Graham Prescott, who was
Excellent.
very much part of our family.
Yeah, long-time
Brilliant.
collaborator with
And
the band, right?
and a very brilliant guy. And the reason, just this last thing I'll say, the reason it's called Broken Bits is because Dave actually, initially it wasn't going to be instrumental. It was going to be like a vocal track, because like I said, until Dan heard it and sort of said, well, why don't we just do instrumental? You know, it was that kind of discussion. We haven't started.
Well, it's so powerful without the vocals.
Yeah, right.
You just say don't want anything to distract from that whole movie.
Yeah, totally. Well, one thing it does remind me of is the Super 8 soundtrack that you guys put together for the documentary a few years ago now. That's very, especially the opening track, the title track Super 8, this reminds me of that, especially with that heavy, I know you use arpeggios a lot, but
exactly.
it's got that same driving, epic, cinematic like you say, drive. You want to drive to it.
I've got to be careful. I've got mates who said we have to keep slowing down when they listen to that. It's like fucking reel themselves in. Like, oh well.
Yeah, I think the Super 8 one was so enjoyable because that was a whole instrumental album pretty much.
Yeah, right.
So much for me and Dan, it was like a real fun. We could just kind
really
of
good
quite
fun.
indulgent.
Yeah.
But so the broken bits thing, Dave wrote some really cool lyrics, and which was like one of them was broken bits, and he was totally cool, you know. Dave totally was like, yeah, absolutely agree, it shouldn't be vocal, you know.
Right, yeah.
There's nothing against what he'd done. He did what he done, and obviously we ended up calling the song Broken Bits. So it all is all very important part of the process of writing music, you know.
Well, yeah.
You throw a lot of shit at it, and then you know, then you have a lot of kind of creative, you know, tapestry or whatever, you know, like it's there, and you have to kind of just all put it together, and some of it doesn't make it and some of it does, you know.
Yeah,
like a
right.
jigsaw puzzle, isn't it, really? Do you know what I mean?
Excellent. And what a way to gear everyone up for the whole album, really. It is
Exactly.
the perfect opener. Like you say, it introduces every sort of aspect, every texture or element of the rest of the album, all in one big cinematic slab that kind of knocks you around the face and then lines you up ready for the next track.
Yeah, and I to be honest, I was really, I wasn't sure how it would be received, to be honest, because we did a track that was quite nearly instrumental on False Foundation called, what was it called again? Driving in Nails.
Oh, yeah.
Dan had a great time writing that. It was a really good fun. It was mostly, but it wasn't instrumental because Pollard sang in it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that was quite hard for the fan. I don't know why it was a bit more sort of, I don't know what it is, but it had a slightly different feel, and it was a little bit of Marmite kind of. Marmite's for those who don't know, is a thing that you put on, English people put on toast, and it's like you either love it or you hate it. And I think that song had that element to it. But this one, I don't know, I just thought maybe it would be the same, but it seems to really, people really have really got it. You know, they really understand what we're trying to do with it, I think, and they really get into the vibe of it, and we've had some great reactions from the song, which I'm really, really happy about, because it's always a gamble, isn't it, when you do instrumentals, isn't it, whether it's,
Oh yeah, of course.
you know, whether it's going to
Keep people's attention and stuff. And
whether it's going to gel with people or not.
Yeah, of course. Well, you become known for, you know, your songs, you know, the songs that have meaning and lyrics behind them and stuff.
right,
So it's, you know, when you try and do something like this, and you're trying to convey emotion in just sounds. That can. Not everyone gets that.
Yeah, no, that's right, exactly. So, but yeah, I'm very happy to have had the reactions we've had from it. So, anyway, I hope that's.
hope that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I didn't play the bass as well. Just last thing, 'cause
well, let's have a bit of that.
There's only a bass that comes right in at the end, after the big crescendo of the brass and like the third chord, the last round of chords, and it's really heavy synth. Like there's bass guitar.
There's bass
as
guitar.
well. Jesus, is there? I'm gonna have a look.
Says there is.
What's that?
No,
there?
not on this track.
No,
No, they're not on this track. Yeah, so. That's just basically the Moog synth on.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
there you go.
That's just basically the Moog synth on the Logic. It's amazing. You feel it with the brass. It's like heavy as. You really feel that. Put the piano at the end. That's the piano hit again.
One final stab.
There you go.
Amazing. All right, so that's Broken Bits, the opening track to Glass Minds, the new Archive album. I hope you've enjoyed that little delve into the opening track that sets us up for the rest of the album. And yeah, we'll be back soon with another episode looking at the next track, the title track of the album, Glass Minds. So yeah, thanks for watching.